We've scaled the highest mountains, we've mapped the deepest ocean trenches, and we've even sent probes into the darkest, furthest reaches of space. But what about the ground literally right under our feet? Welcome to this Curious Orbit Explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for a staggering 20-year journey into the mysterious depths of our own planet. We're going to look at one of the most ambitious scientific missions in history, a project that pushed engineering to its absolute breaking point and revealed secrets about the Earth that literally shocked the scientific community.
So, what if I told you that humans once tried to dig all the way to the center of the Earth? I know, it sounds straight out of a science fiction movie, right? But for over 2 decades, scientists drilled deeper into our planet than ever before. And honestly, the deeper they went, the stranger things became. They discovered extreme temperatures, totally unexpected geological secrets, and encountered challenges so insanely difficult that the whole project ultimately had to be abandoned. Okay, let's dive into this and see exactly what they found miles beneath the surface.
Part 1. The ultimate scientific mission. Pure exploration, not resources.
You see, unlike standard commercial oil drilling where the whole goal is to extract something you can sell, the Kola Superdeep Borehole was a massive initiative driven purely by scientific curiosity. The goal was simply to study the Earth's crust and figure out exactly how our planet formed. It all started back in 1970 on the freezing Kola Peninsula in northwestern Russia. Picture these massive, deafening machines working around the clock, 24/7. As the years turned into decades, they just kept pushing deeper, grinding through solid rock until extreme temperatures finally halted their progress in the early 1990s. Yet even today, decades after those machines fell silent, the result of that relentless effort remains the deepest artificial point on Earth.
Part 2. Reaching record-breaking depths, descending 12 kilometers.
I really want you to try and imagine the sheer scale of this. Plunging past 1 kilometer, then 5, then 10, straight down into solid ancient rock. After decades of relentless, nonstop drilling, humanity achieved a staggering record, 12,262 meters, or roughly 40,230 feet deep. To call it a struggle would be an understatement. Every single additional meter was a hard-fought victory against intense pressure, wildly unpredictable rock formations, and, just the immense, crushing weight of the drill string itself. Now, to put that massive number into perspective, think of Mount Everest. If you were to take the highest peak on Earth, flip it entirely upside down, and drop it perfectly inside the Kola Superdeep Borehole, its peak would still sit thousands of feet below the surface. Let that sink in. The highest point on our entire planet could easily be swallowed whole by this single, narrow hole. That is how incredibly far down they went.
Part 3. Surprising underground discoveries, paradigm-shifting secrets.
Look, you don't dig a hole that incredibly deep without uncovering some truly paradigm-shifting secrets. As they pushed further down, scientists found subterranean water deep within rocks, where it was previously believed, absolutely impossible for water to exist. The intense pressure should have squeezed any moisture out, but there it was. And, even more shockingly, nearly 7 kilometers below the surface, they discovered perfectly intact microscopic fossils of ancient marine organisms. These fossils were dated to be over 2 billion years old. Finding biological evidence buried that deeply inside the Earth's crust completely rewrote geological history. A real game changer.
Part 4. Extreme heat and dark myths, the struggle at the bottom.
But as you can probably guess, it wasn't all just exciting scientific discoveries. As the drill reached the absolute deepest, darkest points of the crust, the whole project transformed into this brutal struggle against nature. Based on all their geological models, scientists expected the temperature down at those depths to be right around 100 degrees Celsius. But they actually hit an environment almost twice as hot, encountering face-melting temperatures reaching nearly 180 degrees Celsius. Therefore, their highly specialized equipment was suddenly operating way, way outside of its designed limits. And that insane heat caused a massive secondary problem. Under that intense 180-degree heat, the surrounding rock didn't just shatter like you'd expect. It actually became malleable. It started behaving almost like a tough, gooey plastic. So every single time they pulled the drill bit up to change it, the hole would literally start to close in on itself. These extreme conditions were absolutely destroying the drilling equipment, making every additional inch a near impossible nightmare. Now, when you combine a deep, mysterious hole with intense heat and failing equipment, human imagination tends to run wild. Over the years, some really strange stories began spreading. A super famous rumor claimed that scientists had drilled so deep they actually broke through to the underworld, reporting that they recorded screams coming from the depths. Newspapers obviously seized on this and dubbed it the well to hell. Now, to be completely clear, this was entirely fictional with zero scientific basis. But you have to admit, the viral story added a thick layer of dark myth to an already fascinating reality.
Part 5. Why the drilling stopped. The end of the dream.
Bringing ourselves back to the surface for a moment, we really have to confront why this incredible journey finally ended. It wasn't just one single obstacle, but rather a sequence of completely overwhelming factors. First off, by the early 1990s, the extreme heat and that weird plastic-like rock rendered their technology pretty much useless. They physically could not drill any deeper. At the exact same time, the geopolitical landscape fractured. The Soviet Union was collapsing, facing severe economic turmoil. So with funding completely drying up and technology pushed way past its breaking point, the deepest hole in the world was finally abandoned. But listen, even though they couldn't go any further, the legacy of the Kola Superdeep Borehole is just monumental. It truly remains one of humanity's greatest scientific achievements. We so often look up to the stars and marvel at how little we know about the vast universe, but you know what? This project proved just how little we know about our own home. Those ancient fossils and the completely unexpected subterranean waters show us that incredible, mind-blowing mysteries are still waiting right beneath our feet. Which leaves us with one final provocative thought. If you had the chance, knowing there is a staggering 12-kilometer drop resting just beneath that heavy, rusted metal cap, would you dare to stand above the deepest hole ever dug by humans? Let us know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me for this Curious Orbit Explainer, and until next time, stay curious, keep exploring.